Dr. Sajesh Gopalan from Kerala. He is the head of the Department of Anesthesia and Critical Care Medicine at Nayar Medicity. And most of you must be familiar with Dr. Sajesh Gopalan due to his recent volunteering activity with the COVID mission in Mumbai, along with Dr. Santosh, who will be joining pretty soon. Dr. Sajesh has more than 20 years of volunteer service in disaster management and has volunteered in many medical missions, including the Bhuj earthquake, Gujarat riots, tsunami in Andamans, and many others. With this very brief introduction, I would welcome Dr. Sajesh to make the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Ratish. And sorry, my dear moderator, I can't do justice to the topic, end of pandemic. I'm a critical care person, and for me, it's only the start, at least in Kerala. So I'll be sharing my concerns on its upcoming big bash. Mortality, that's death due to COVID, is inversely proportional to the quality of ICU beds and quantity of the ICU beds and the quality of critical care management. I am speaking out of my personal experience in Mumbai COVID ICU. We managed over 100 patients in our ICU and around 300 patients data we have with us. And we know around 5% of the COVID positive patients require ICU admission. I don't believe that there is no treatment for COVID. We have treatment, but I'm not going to the details actually because Ganesh is, next speaker is saying on that. But so in severe disease, COVID treatment is a long journey. In at least 1 to 4 weeks, it will take in 5% of the patients. Since it's a lung affected, mainly it's a lung affected and thrombosis, and lung needs time to cure. In ICU, the balancing patient management and the safety of the healthcare worker is a big challenge. Why? Because patient and healthcare workers are scary over each other. Healthcare workers are scary and they see patients as a naked viral shedding objects. New normal clinical examinations, they can't use stethoscope, limitation of vision, that is a foggy glasses, limitation of movement with PPE, and frequent untoward incidents like frequent deaths, limited communication access in the ICU. And regarding the patients, patients are also frightened of scary attire of the healthcare workers. They don't see normal persons and they see them as astronauts or something like that. Distress due to the lack of body oxygen and fear of death, and oxygen providing gadgets like hood, mask, and all the very distressing things. No relatives are allowed in the ICU and they are kept alone. So all these things are very distressing things from the patients. Here, the proper communication and of course, the latest treatment strategies make the patient calm and confident on treating physician. On the other side, the adequate safety precautions make healthcare workers confident to go close to the patient and maintain better communication and offer maximum possible scientific treatment. What are the infrastructure and other supports, equipments ensure safety of the healthcare workers? In my point, the most important thing is negative pressure ICU setting. We know that ICU is a closed space with the AC, and most of our procedures like high flow oxygen therapy and all are producing high viral shed, which can stay longer in the atmosphere. And what we do is that we suck out the air from the AC exit vent and create a negative pressure. Ideally is 2.5 negative pascals and 12 cycles per air changes out. And full PPE kit is a must there. Then adequate staff strength, starting from the intensivist, doctors, staff nurse, patient care attendants, and housekeepers, is because we can't work more than 4 to 6 hours in PPE. Another important thing is training and other protocols. Training protocols are very important. SOPs are very important here. And another important thing is that separate accommodation should be provided for all the staff, preferably in the same space and with some individual rooms, and round the clock food availability and dedicated conveyance to avoid the community spread, and frequent team meeting facilities. That is very, very important, and cultural activities, because even the team have a mental stress there. And even yesterday, one of my friend was calling from New York. They're saying that what they do is that they together as a group, they are just crying at the end of the day, a group crying actually. And of course, the decent remuneration and health health insurance coverage is needed. Once the safety is assured, the healthcare workers maintain a proximity with the patients, communicate and freely, and it's very important to win the confidence of patients because we need, like the oxygenation GAD gets another therapy style like awake proning. That means we get the patient upside for the better oxygenation. Therefore, this better coordination is needed, and that depends, that provides a better outcome. Another facilities like oxygen therapy, that is very, very important. Oxygen facility, actually, we need a liquid oxygen tanks. In CBS, major centers, we need at least 1 or 2 tanks there. Another laboratory radiology investigation, patient communication devices. What we give is that in ICU, we give a smartphone to the patient. They can communicate. We can have video calls with our relatives, and our nutrition and other things are very important here. And my last part, and we are coming to the back to Kerala scenario. So far, we have done an excellent, well-coordinated presentation activities, and we have flattened the curve for the last 5 months. We are able to reduce the burden of unexpected critical care load, and thereby we are low per million mortality. We are here around 80 deaths in 20,000 positive cases. I will give 9 out of 10 marks to the Kerala team. But now the situation has changed. The community spread has established, and we need more critical care beds. We have only around 500 quality ICU beds here. And with we can squeeze out another 400, 500. Of course, we can bring up another ICUs like general hospitals and the private hospitals, but at the expense of safety of healthcare workers. So far, we have discussed the safety features of ICU. We can't afford to compromise on the safety, as in pandemic, healthcare workers, especially intensivist and staff nurses, are very precious, and we won't get a replacement if they gone for quarantine. We have seen it in Mumbai, actually. I'm finishing in 30 seconds, and I place 30,000 as a magical figure. Once we touch the 30,000 active COVID patients, we need at least 1,500 beds. That means we need an extra 1,000 beds. And that is only the dome of a home treatment and other CFL facilities. And we may reach it in 1 or 2 months period. We need more 10,000 quality dedicated COVID ICU beds. We can't construct all of a sudden. So we need this high time, we have to think seriously. I request the government to take it's a high priority mission, and we have a good media penetration. I request my media friends to take it as a campaign. And finishing last words, that what we need is a high quality treatment facilities, of course the CFLTs, but especially ICUs. My last word, deaths due to COVID depends on the quantity of ICU beds and the quality of critical care management strategies. Thank you.